Hey everybody, welcome back to Whistle Thicket. It is a rainy day today. Since it's raining, I'm in our little carport area, and I thought I would share some of my basic beekeeping supplies. I keep everything in this box. Now I know some people have a much bigger bee operation, and they have bee sheds, bee houses where they keep all of their gear. I'm not there yet. So this is where I have all of my bee equipment. And the nice thing is it's portable. It's also light. That's right. So it is not heavy. And that's a good thing because I have several friends with bees and I'm learning about beekeeping. So I can take this box with me. I have my own gear. I have everything in there that I use at home. So I can go help them with their bees. I can learn. And I also have the start of a swarm kit in here so that if I do find any bee swarms, which I'm not really looking into that this year, but maybe next year, I have this portable box. I just pick it up, throw it in my car, and I have all of my basic bee gear. So again, this is my first year as a beekeeper. I'm learning a lot, but it is a fun adventure so far. So let's go ahead and see what's in my beekeeping box. Let's see here. I'm probably going to talk about some of the more, important gear first because that's on top. And then I'll talk about some of the lesser used equipment that I'm using. But there is a general order because stuff that's on top I use more. But, there's not an order. I'm going to show you everything as, is this important? Is that important? First and foremost, I have my smoker in here. I use my smoker every time I do a bee inspection. I always hear that the one time you don't have your smoker is the one time you need it. So I always use my smoker. I have been stung about twice, maybe 3 times, and I wasn't doing anything that was beekeeping. I was just near the hives where I have some strawberries and I was harvesting, and that's when I got stung. To go along with a smoker, this is how I start my smoker. With a propane torch. Now I know some people might think this is excessive, but you want to get your smoker going quick. If your smoker goes out, you don't want to have to fiddle with a lighter or matches or anything. So this is super quick, super instant. So I have my torch and my fuel tank. And what I learned recently, you don't want to run out of fuel. So I actually did run out of fuel about 2 weeks ago. I was making a lot of mushroom logs lately, and I melt the wax with my torch, and it ran out right when I was in the middle of a hive inspection. So I've learned my lesson. It's better to have extra fuel so that if you run out, you are safe. It's better to be more prepared than to end up not having what you need when you need it, right? These are smoker pellets. I don't really use these. I actually got a few of these items, or probably half of them, from my mom last Christmas. She knew I wanted to get into beekeeping, so she surprised me, and best Christmas ever, Mom. And she got me a lot of beekeeping stuff, which is cool because she doesn't know anything about beekeeping, so she had to do some research and figure it out on her own as well. So these are just smoker pellets. They are nice to have if you're at a place where you don't have fuel accessible. A lot of times I use leaves, pine straw, and then I also use wood pellets. I have like a 5-gallon bucket of wood pellets. I'll probably never have to buy fuel again, or not for many years, but I do have some extra pellets that I just keep in this bag. And I have them if I need them, especially if I'm going to help someone, or maybe in the future if I find a swarm. I have these ready to go. One less thing I need to worry about. Now I'm going to show you my safety clothing. So I have my first bee veil here, and this one you actually want to wear a hat underneath, especially if you're bald, because bees can sting you through this very thin, I guess, cotton material. So this is my bee veil, and I have a second veil. This one you have to have a hat for. I guess this one you don't have to, but I wear one. This goes over a straw hat or a wide brim hat. This is great for me. I have a second veil mainly for Rowan, my daughter. She's into beekeeping with me, and she needs to have a veil. And if I have friends that come over, if they want to learn about beekeeping, I have an extra veil for them, and that is always exciting if a friend wants to learn a little bit about beekeeping. So I have a second veil on hand. These fancy gloves, I think these are goat skin gloves. Some people love them, some people say don't use them. These are specially made beekeeping gloves. See the cute little bee there? I use these about maybe half the time. So I know some people love them, like I said, some people hate them. For me, since I'm learning about beekeeping, it takes me longer to do a bee inspection. I still don't have my confidence up 100% with bees. So these gloves make me feel good. And they're easy to throw on. I am able to pick everything up for the most part. That's really what I wear every time. I always wear my veil, and half of the time or so I'm wearing my gloves. I also have a full bodysuit. That's right. So I've only worn this once, and that's when I tried it on. I have not worn this beekeeping suit since I got it from my mom, but thanks, Mom. But I think I probably will wear it, especially in the summertime. I'm not always wearing long sleeves in the summertime especially, so this is nice to have to throw on real quick. And I have it in here for one important reason. If I try to catch swarms next year, I don't know where or when that will happen. So if I have this in my box, I can throw it in real quick. I may have a pair of shorts on. So some people wear a full suit with the veil, the bodysuit, the gloves. Some people don't wear anything. I mean, clothes, hopefully. So it's up to you. It's your level of comfort, your experience. Me, I think I'm always going to wear a veil. I don't want to get stung in the face. That doesn't sound good. Bee tools. So I have 3 different types. You don't need 3 different types. I just ended up with 3. This is a nice tool to have to lift frames. These are similar, except this has more leverage. This is nice to lift that first frame as well. So these are tools you have to have. You have to have at least one tool to open up your hive, because bees will seal your hive boxes together with propolis. If you have a feeder, they will seal the feeder to it. And you cannot really, I guess, muscle those supers off. You can, but then you run the risk of your hive toppling over, of upsetting your bees. So these are really handy to have. They're nice to scrape the extra wax if they're making a burr comb. They're just important to have to lift frames, so you definitely have to have at least one of these tools. The rest of the gear and equipment is, at least for me, I don't use it that often. A few things in here I have not used yet. I have a frame gripper. This is not something you need to have. I do use it. I don't use it every time, but especially since I'm a homestead YouTuber, I'm filming, and it's nice to have the frame gripper. If you hold it nice and tight, that frame is not going anywhere. So this actually is nice for filming purposes. And it's not that expensive. I think you can get these for $4 up to $20 depending on where you buy it and the quality. But this is a pretty good one. It serves its purpose. It's nice too if you have a lot of wax built up and a lot of propolis. You can lift that first frame just straight up, and you don't have to mess with the hive tool as much. But again, you do not need to have a frame grip, but I have one because I got it for Christmas. What else do we got in here? I have a bee brush. So some people love these. I haven't used it too often, but I have taken it out once or twice. It's nice to kind of brush some of the bees away, especially since I have a feeder, or as soon as I add supers. You don't want to crush bees. As soon as you start beekeeping, you really appreciate every single bee there. So this is nice to have to brush the bees away. I don't really use it that often. I know for honey extraction and harvesting, a bee brush is important to have for that. So hopefully when I get honey this year, I hope I'll be able to use this bee brush more. Speaking of honey harvesting, I do have some basic tools to uncap honey. And again, I have not used these. This is my first year ever raising bees and farming honey. So I haven't used these yet, but I'm going to be learning about honey extraction hopefully pretty soon. Maybe not with my hives, but with a friend's hives. What else do I have? I have a pair of safety goggles in here, why not? And I have this funnel. This is actually a car funnel or an oil funnel. An oil funnel. So this is an oil funnel that I chopped off, and this fits perfectly in a milk jug. When I make the sugar syrup for my new bees, I just use milk jugs, and this is really handy for mixing the sugar and the water. So if you want to learn how I do that, there's a video linked here or here. I'm linking it now, and you can learn how to make bee syrup. There's one last thing I have in my bee box. And, oh no, there's two last things I have in my bee box. So this is a wax box. There's a top in there. There's a top. So this is a wax box that my nuke came in. Now, if you want to know the difference between a nuke and a 3-pound package, here's another video I made about that. The reason I hung on to this, I had to pay, I think, $6 to keep it. But this is a good box to use for a swarm box to catch a swarm. So I'm keeping it, and it also separates my supplies a little bit inside my big box. So I'm hoping maybe to one day catch a swarm, and I have a swarm box to catch them. So I got that right there. The very, very, very last thing I currently have in my beekeeping box is I have been saving burr comb. So every time I do an inspection, there's always a little bit of burr comb that the bees are making on top of the frames. Not really useful. That's just their instinct. That's just what they do. So I am saving my burr comb. Why am I saving it? I'm saving it for my mushroom logs. I think there might be a mushroom log behind me. Let me show you. Those are all mushroom logs, if you can see them. So I'm saving the wax so that next year when I make more mushroom logs, instead of buying cheese wax, I'm going to use beeswax. And that's one less thing I have to buy for mushroom logs. And eventually, my mushroom log system is going to be almost 100% free. Maybe free if I can make that happen. So again, this is everything I have for my beekeeping supplies. If you have a suggestion for something you think I'm missing, something I need, just let me know. If there's a really cool tool you use that I'm missing, I would love to learn from you. So if you have any comments, advice, just let me know. Make sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to our channel. We are getting close to 1,500 subscribers, and you know, that's a cool little goal. We're like 30 away from 1,500, so let's see if we can make that happen. Thanks for watching.